All right, here we go. It's a brand new Flyers Daily for the 19th of December, 2024. Flyers Daily, as usual, brought to you by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. Yes, a new episode. We did not have one yesterday. I do apologize. I had to have a procedure done, and I am working through some things with my health. There may be some more missed ones coming up. I'm not sure, but we're working through it as best we can. So thank you, everybody, for the kind notes and messages that I have gotten. I really appreciate it a lot. More details at some point, but I just don't have them just now to share. Let's get to the business at hand and why you listen to this podcast to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. And we're going to be talking about a 6-4 loss against the Detroit Red Wings as the Flyers go into Hockey Town and don't come home with any points in a game where they got off to a really good start. First shift, second shift, first shift for the top line. They score a goal just 106 in when Travis Konecny picks up his 16th. Really good play in the neutral zone by Sean Couturier. A read on the play. I know he was mic'd up during the game. I saw this. And he went to Rocky Town. That's good video scouting, good pre-scout to know that they were going to try that. Couturier jumps it. The Detroit defenseman, for some reason, tries to go through the middle of the ice on a stretch pass when the Flyers are kind of laying in wait in their neutral zone forecheck. Couturier picks it off, gets it to Farabee. Farabee right to Konecny, who goes in on the breakaway and cools a cucumber. He opens up Alex Lyon and slides it backhand through the 5-hole, and the Flyers go up 1-0. So good start. You're all right. That's a good start to the game. Get it going, top line especially. You like that. But at 18-19 of the first, JT Compher picks up a power play goal. Owen Tippett had been called for a double minor. It was the Flyers, I guess, technically third PK of the period. They had one earlier, and then the first 2 minutes of the double minor were off. And in the second 2 minutes, Compher scores the power play goal. Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond pick up the assist. And now you've got a 1-1 game after one. But you're kind of going after the first period. And Flyers didn't play a great first period. They're tied at 1. So not really much damage done. If Flyers can just improve their game here in the second period and going forward, they'll have a good chance to win it. In the second period, 10-15 in, Alex DeBrincat gets the goal on a great pass from Patrick Kane, and that puts the Red Wings up 2-1 in the game. But Noah Cates, just 25 seconds later, Flyers answer. I like when, if you get scored on and you can answer right away. Flyers have done that a good amount of times lately. They do here as Tyson Forster with a turnaround shot deflects off Noah Cates and in past Alex Lyon. And now you've got a 2-2 game. So, okay, you're midway through the game. Still nothing in the rears here. Reset, restart the game. It's 2-2. But at 16:05, Michael Rasmussen, right off a faceoff, is able to get it. JT Compher wins the draw against Sean Couturier, and it goes right to Michael Rasmussen. But there's a slight delay in the reaction of Yegor Zamula. He's kind of lined up on that hash mark on the right side of the faceoff circle, well, the left side of it, but on the right. He's got to shoot that gap when Couturier loses the draw, try and either mitigate the pass. And if not, if the pass does get to Rasmussen like it does, get there with a stick right on the puck right away. But the slightest of delays by Zamula there don't allow him to get there. And then it's a shot coming through traffic that Sam Ersson doesn't pick up. So that right there is a bit of a self-inflicted wound as the Red Wings take the 3-2 lead. Then it's 17-27. Joe Veleno goes in and gets his second of the season. It was a 3-0. And again, one of the things the Flyers really rely on is their structure. And when you over pursue in the offensive zone and flood a certain area of the ice, a quadrant, if you will, in the offensive zone, if the other team's able to break that, then they've got a numbers game the other way. And the Flyers get really redundant on the left wall at the top of the circle in the Detroit zone. And Scott Lawton, I think, is in the right spot. He's supporting the play high, gets the puck. And then as he's trying to make a play, there's no other options because all of your options are there. And the only other option is Rasmus Ristolainen, who's kind of backed out to the other side, noticing the Flyers were flooded on that side. And as Lawton tries to get a backhand pass to him, he runs into Paling, and it ends up kind of flubbing the pass, and they go the other way on a 3-0, and Christian Fischer feeds Joe Veleno for the goal. Nothing Sam Ersson can do here. So now the Red Wings are up 4-2, and that's how the Flyers will go into the third period. Now, we do know this. The Flyers this year have erased more deficits in the third period than any other team. Is that good? Yeah, it's kind of good, but it's not good because you go into the third period with too many deficits because their second periods have been, they've just gotten trashed in the second periods of games this year. They've given up 46 goals in second periods this year, and they've only scored 27. I mean, that's kind of bananas for where we are in the season to have a number that lopsided already. But they go down into the third period, down by 2. 3:50 in, Ryan Poehling gets an unbelievable pass from Couturier. Couturier, first good play at the high in the offensive zone, and then is able to wheel to the right side and makes a deft pass, cross ice to Ryan Poehling on the doorstep. He taps it in, and that puts the Flyers within 1. Couturier and Sanheim with the assist. Then at 5:39, unbelievable play from Owen Tippett. He gets a pass from Scott Lawton coming through the neutral zone and then just turns on the Jets and the power coming up the left side. And this is something we've talked about. I'd like to see him do even more. Is get those legs moving and get that power. Go hard to the net, power your way to the net, which he does. And he's able to outstretch Alex Lyon and tuck it in. And now it's a 4-4 game. Lawton and Drysdale with the assist. So you got a whole new game here, another bananas game where they come back and erase a 2-goal deficit, which just doesn't happen very often. But then at 7:22, Patrick Kane gets a stretch pass as the Flyers get caught in a change. He's able to beat Sam Harrison. And then Lucas Raymond gets the empty net goal at 18:48. And there's your final. It was a lot of self-inflicted wounds in this game. Cam York, I don't think saw a shift in the entire third period. He had a turnover in this game where he just hung on to it too long to try and make a stretch pass. And when you hang on to it and you're kind of looking where you want to go, you're telegraphing it. You know, the easiest indicator to find out where a guy is trying to go with the puck, like a quarterback in football, is where are his eyes? And when you go across the neutral zone like that, the other team's going to jump it, and they did. And Cam York wasn't processing quick enough, like Zamula wasn't processing quick enough on the faceoff goal that they scored. York only played 12 minutes and 49 seconds in this game, yet his D partner led the team in time on ice 24-17 for Travis Sanheim. So they definitely shortened the bench. York did not see the ice in the third period, and he's going to have to regroup. York, I thought a couple of games ago had a good game. Looked like he was coming back from where his injury was, but last game and this game, a little bit of a step back for Cam York. I'm not sure if he's 100% where he is, but he doesn't look like the same player we saw last year in the last couple of games, and that they need him to be that guy. Jamie Drysdale, I thought looked good in the game. He played 22:09. But you really are reliant on Sanheim and York together. And when one of your guys on your top pairing gets benched for a period, that's obviously an issue. So there were some missed opportunities in the game for the Flyers. And again, it wasn't a game where there was a ton of shots on goal. This was not a goaltender's expose. You look at the total shots and you have 10 total goals and the shots are 24-19. There was opportunity out there, but the Flyers just didn't seem to capitalize on it in this game. And maybe this is the game where John Tortorella says, okay, I got to start to change up my lines. You don't have to change them all up, but you're probably not going to change that third line with Cates and Tyson Forster and Bobby Brink. You keep that one together, but you're going to have to change, I think, some of the other ones right now because the team structure wasn't good enough. If you look at the heat map of this game and the scoring chances and where they come from, whether you look at it on Hockey Reference or Money Puck, wherever, you'll see that Detroit got inside in the Flyers' defensive zone a ton. That's not something the Flyers usually give up. That's an area they protect. They protect the house. They'll give you the outside, but they didn't protect the house and the inside in this game. And when you see those things, you go, okay, this is a structural issue as well. Now, look, I'm not going to say they're tired. They just had a bunch of days off. You're coming into the holiday season. These are really important games for this Flyers team. They have their last home game coming up on Saturday. They play tonight against the Los Angeles Kings, who are a good team, who, by the way, last night while the Flyers were playing that game, are sitting in Philadelphia laying in wait. So, and they're probably pretty ticked off because they lost to Pittsburgh in their last one, a game they had a lead in. So it doesn't get any easier coming up tonight. Flyers are going to have to put that one behind them in Detroit, leave it in Detroit, and go out tonight and put a really good effort on the home ice out against the second place team in the Pacific Division of the Eastern Conference and the Kings, who are through 31 games, 18-9-4 with 40 points, 7-2-1 in their last 10. I mean, they are a really good team that can be a handful and was playing really well. I mean, they won 6 straight, lost 1 to New Jersey on this road trip that they're on, and then 1 in New York against the Rangers 5-1. They chased Shesterkin in that game. And then their last game, they lost in overtime 3-2 to the Penguins. So they're a team that's playing good hockey right now, despite the fact that they lost in overtime on what's a long road trip for them, then they're going to be laying in Philadelphia, waiting for the Flyers. And well, we hope you see that team that we saw in Detroit tonight against the Kings at Wells Fargo Center, because they'll have a real good opportunity. So the Flyers are going to have to shake it off, move forward, and get back at it tonight. I imagine we'll see Alexei Kolosov in that game tonight for the Flyers, as Sam Ersson went last night. We'll see Kolosov get the start against the Los Angeles Kings. So a good opportunity when you can get right back at it. That's a good thing for Los Angeles. When you look at the Kings right now, Anze Kopitar has turned the clock back. It's amazing. He's I don't think he's ever been a point-per-game player. He's got 35 points in 31 games so far this season. 8 goals, 27 assists. You got to keep an eye on him. You got to keep an eye on Kempe. He's a point-per-game player. He's got 31 points, 16 goals in 31 games. So they're a team that can throw a lot at you in the Los Angeles Kings. So the task at hand tonight will not be an easy one against the Kings as the Flyers look to get back on it. Did get an email that I wanted to read on this one as well in this episode. This came in post-game from a frequent emailer to the program. Aubrey reads in and says, the subject of the email says, break time. He says, that was a tough one to watch. One thing that I'm noticing is the lack of execution. I don't know if it's just a poor game, which of course does happen, but the Flyers seemed a little discombobulated. Good word. Although there was only one power play, it's evident from their entry and execution on it, the setup on the power play, that really shows how the rest of the game is going right now. Maybe they need the holiday break, but executing crisp passes, more shots on goal, and some net front presence may help. This team is better than this. Let's hope it's not an indication of more to come. Now, that's the question. Is it an indication of more to come with this Flyers team? Now, when you look at a team that's in this stage of a rebuild, whether you define it that way or not, teams that are looking to get into that next crust of teams, next level of teams in the NHL, you go through these things. One game, you'll see a team, or 2 games, 3 games in a row, you'll see a team that looks really good. Then you'll see a game like this with self-inflicted wounds, a lack of structure, and you go, wow, we're right back to square one. You feel like you're walking on a treadmill. You're walking but not going anywhere. This is part of that process of figuring this out. And when you don't have the talent that those upper crust teams have, you can't overcome it as easily. You can't just kind of bank on that upper crust of talent to pull you out of these games. Flyers just don't have that right now. So I think that's where they are in this rebuild. There's going to be this yin and yang feeling. There's going to be stretches where you're going to feel really good, and then there's going to be a stretch where you don't feel good, and you're going to be like, do we even move forward? At the end, you look at all of it and you collect it and go, okay, does that make sense? Is the big sample size a step forward? We can't determine that yet. This season has been kind of like a toilet seat, up and down, up and down, up and down. So where it's going, I'm not sure. I still don't know what this team is. I got a question the other day for Ask Billy that asked me, do we, a guy, we didn't use it on the episode, but he said, do either of you guys expect the Flyers to be a playoff team based on what we've seen so far this season? I have no clue. What I know is the standings are really tight. And if you have a good week, you can go into wild card position. If you have a bad week, you can drop way down. They're really tight right now. I don't know where they're going. I still don't know where they're going this season. I don't know how much to rely on just the structure and discipline play and culture of the locker room. I don't know where that can take this team. Can they be in that mix? Sure. Is there a chance they won't be in that mix? Sure. I just don't know if this team is going to be a team that will push for the playoffs. This stretch from now through basically January 7th, when they get back for that home and home with the Toronto Maple Leafs, is a big stretch. These are really important games because this positions you in the new year to not be chasing the standings where you have to leapfrog teams to get back into the playoff position. That becomes overwhelming. I got this question from Lisa on Twitter, said, what is this Flyers team's greatest strength and greatest weakness? To me, probably the greatest strength of this team, although it wasn't shown in this game against Detroit, was the total team defense and the way they protect the middle of the ice. They don't give up high danger scoring chances. In this game, they did, but that has been their strength. Transition offense has been a strength at times. Goaltending hasn't been a strength as much as we'd like. Sam Ersson was hurt, and Obviously, Kolosov and Fedotov didn't get off to a great start, but became a strength. So it's weird to say that 30 plus games into the season, we don't have definitive answers on some of these things, but we don't. Now, Lisa also said, what is the organization's greatest strength and greatest weakness? I think the organization kind of off the ice's greatest strength is probably, the way these guys play and the destination, the facilities, and all those things are huge strengths. Playing in Philadelphia with the travel, those are strengths. What is the weakness? That they're not a team that's winning right now from the outside when players look at it. So they have to put themselves in a position to make what they are as a team and where they're going as a team into an asset, not a liability. We'll see if they can do that. That's maybe easier said than done, but that's what they are going to have to try and do. But again, we're 30 games in, and we don't have those definitive answers just yet. The second periods are a huge head scratcher to me. They were 83 goals for, 83 goals against last year in second periods. Like I said, now they're 46 goals allowed, 27 goals for. Why is that? We got to figure that out. We'll try and start to solve that issue and many more coming up tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Kings at home at Wells Fargo Center. We'll recap it tomorrow. It is amazing in hockey, though. Sometimes you can watch a team in less than 24 hours look like a totally different team. We'll see if they can flip that switch in this game. We shall see. We'll break it down tomorrow. Join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.